My former high school mate and award-winning filmmaker Ryen William Thomas and actor Alfonso Freeman, son of the legendary Oscar winner, join me next with their new feature Torn on an all-new RXG exclusives.
We must open up our minds and take a look inside. That we find we hold all the answers tonight.
You're watching the award-winning RXG exclusive, hosted by award-winning actor and award-winning filmmaker Robert X. Golphin.
Find we hold all the answers tonight.
A troubled father retreats to a town full of werewolf lore in hopes of dealing with personal demons, but to his dismay he must face the truth of his past or risk becoming part of the legend. That is the logline for the new psychological thriller Torn. One of the film's stars, Alfonso Freeman, will join us shortly, but first I welcome to the program the director and producer Ryen Thomas. Thanks for making the time, man.
Thank you for having me here. I've been looking forward to this. Also, I appreciate you running the log line because Torn, that's a very interesting film to sum up. Yeah. So good job there. You did good.
Well, this season of my series and really my life has been chock full of reunions with old mates, acquaintances, colleagues. And though we haven't seen each other since we graduated Kappa, the Philadelphia High School for Creative and Performing Arts, 1 billion years ago.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, we followed each other, on social media, and we followed each other, communicated here and there. And I have to say, I can only speak for myself. Everyone's experience is different. Attending an art school can feel isolating, each major in their own world. And I didn't have a lot of friends in high school, but for our little motley crew, I truly credit you all with helping me as a baby-faced, skinny, short kid with big ears navigate it all. And though some folks made fun of me for carrying a briefcase, we're drafting contracts, collaborating with other filmmakers, trying to start production companies.
If anybody's willing to let me be an intern on their production company or work with them, here's my card.
Folks couldn't see our vision. You and I were as serious then as we are now about our craft. You were the cinematographer for my award-winning film Lit, about a group of kids who try to shut down a tobacco company after their health teacher dies of lung cancer.
You make a personal apology, taking full responsibility.
For what?
For what?
Yes.
For the death, for suffering.
Over 65 young people from Delaware, Philadelphia, New Jersey were part of that production.
I've just been told that my director of photography wants to come up and make a statement. Ryen Thomas.
I want to be a filmmaker, but for the time being, I wanted to work with Robert to get experience in this business.
It's almost like I have to see the finished product of the movie before we even start film. I have to actually visualize it in my head, like a real movie.
And man, it's really a joy to see how far you've come as an artist and a person. You hold a filmmaking degree from the North Carolina School of the Arts. You've written, produced, and directed countless television productions, decades in the game, and now you're releasing your third feature film as a director. I've only directed one. I've got to catch up. You've been busy. You studied visual arts at Kappa. You're a painter, a photographer. You've always had that eye. Tell me how those formative years helped prepare you for your life and your career.
Well, I just want to say I credit you for a lot of things starting. Because a lot of my earlier projects were basically done. I was by myself. I didn't have a team. I used to get my cousins to join me, but I didn't really know many other filmmakers in my age group. So I really credit you for being a kindred spirit and opening those doors for me on your project with Lit. So I usually cite that as like when everything started. Visual arts, the CAP experience was it was beautiful. And I once again, I go back to you and our little crew. You guys made it beautiful. The kindred spirits that I had there. The teachers, Mr. Rodano.
I have to give a shout out to my film and TV instructor, Francis Rodano.
It all starts with good writing. You're the one who conceives the idea. You're the one who eventually will direct it too.
I miss him. But basically, I just appreciate how Kappa taught me how to tell a story visually.
I have to admit, I cut many of Miss Ruttman's classes to spend time in the film and TV wing.
So while I didn't really study filmmaking there, I studied art history. I studied basically just different eras and how artists convey their point of view through images. So that's how Kappa helped.
Well, now your films have crossed multiple genres or subgenres, including drama, sci-fi, thriller, horror, and even a little bit of comedy sprinkled in there. You need the levity. Your subjects range from health crises to alcoholism and werewolves. But regardless of the plot or pacing, the signature of your work, correct me if I'm wrong, seems to always lead with character-driven stories. When you sit down to write a screenplay or decide to execute another writer's creation, what is the process for you choosing which road to travel?
I'm glad you brought that up with the character. I have to believe the character. If I don't feel like, let me backtrack. So I have I consider myself an amateur counselor or a psychologist. And so I love studying people. I love watching people. I love trying to figure out what motivates them, what their core fears are. Enneagram, all the type of systems out there, Myers-Briggs. And so I usually feel that if I can't see that, if I can't type the character, if the character doesn't feel like a three-dimensional being that I would meet in person, then it's not a fleshed out character. Character doesn't exist yet. It needs to go back to draft one. So it definitely starts with the character, and then the next thing is tone. I have no idea how I craft that, but I'm attracted to a certain tone. I like to say maybe it's a combination of the rustic Philly vibes with Gothic Southern mixed in, but I'm attracted to that type of tone.
Well, now,
if that answers your question.
No, that does. And it leads me to this. You are in North Carolina, and North Carolina, like Atlanta, for years has been a secondary epicenter for the filmmaking industry. Some people have called it the Hollywood East. You're a resident of Charlotte, where you live with your wife and 4 sons. Did you ever consider making the move somewhere else, or do you envision the South as your cinematic playground for life?
So yeah, right out, like basically my last year of film school, 2004, I did plan to move to LA. That was the goal, but I worked on a film. It was called Junebug in North Carolina. Immediately after graduating, I worked on this film called Junebug, and that introduced me to a lot of crew in the Wilmington area and the Charlotte area, the Winston-Salem area. And let's just say I instantly found a home here, and I never left because this became my home. You mentioned playground. And it feels like that. It feels like it was the perfect right place for me to grow as a filmmaker, especially in independent territory. I'm not sure if I would have been able to tell a lot of my movies in LA. I have a feeling that Philadelphia, something would have happened in Philly. I love just walking around Broad Street inspires ideas. So, but yeah, something about this area, I guess the Southern Gothic vibes, something about it was inspiring to the stories that I like to make.
Joining us now, of course, is Alfonso René Freeman, who portrays the role of Sheriff Mike Lewis. He is, as you'll likely guess from his distinct features and voice, the son of iconic actor Morgan Freeman. But Alfonso is an accomplished industry vet in his own right. TV, film, and stage credits include The Practice, ER, Dark Blue, 10 Till Noon, The Bucket List, Ghost Whisperer, and Zoo Story, just to name a few. And you've likely heard his voice on commercials for Chase Bank, McDonald's, and Verizon. Thank you so much, sir, for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I'd like to start with how you went from working as a computer operator for an aerospace company to a career in the arts, and what advice did your father offer in that regard?
Well, I mean, it happened like it does for a number of us. I got laid off. It's the end of the Cold War, and the defense industry, and they just went through layoffs. I got laid off, and at that point, I just told myself, well, it has to really matter for it to matter, and it doesn't matter. So I moved on from that and thought about my pops, and he made it little later in life, and I felt like, well, if he can make it, I can make it. So I did. I was 33 at the time. And then the moment I was serious about it, things just kind of fell in place, and I, became this guy. I became a working actor. Took time, a lot of work, a lot of rejection, but I did it.
Yeah.
And and the question was, what advice did my dad give? And I can sum it up with, don't give up. His career is far more advanced than mine, and the technology and so forth is all different today. So his version of things would be different than mine, and so I had to go through the what do you call it, the 90s, 2000s, and so forth, building this career. So I had to do it myself.
Well, now you're obviously a multi-talent. You have a gospel music background. Please share how music became part of your life, and is there another album on the way?
Music has always been a part of me. If I just painted the picture of the stereotypical average black family, there was a lot of music involved, and we played, brooms for guitars and little plastic bowling pins for drums and everything, and Quaker Oats oatmeal cans for bongos and drums. We did all that stuff, and we were always kind of rhythmic and all, and then and churchgoers on top of that. And I just felt, I don't like to use the word called, but there is no better word to go on and advance this music thing. Learn how to play piano by ear, and started out on drums, and and then along the way I felt like there was a message that I needed to give out, and ultimately I did produce a gospel music CD. Turned out pretty good, by the way, and got it. I guess I scratched that particular itch. I am still musical. My chops aren't what they used to be. I spend more time focused on acting these days. That's me in a nutshell when it comes to music.
Well, look, Torn is a riveting film, and I hesitate to get too specific about things because I don't want to give anything away, but your character is really at the center of everything. Can you tell me about the sheriff and what drew you to the project?
It was a different project. You hear, well, what I know of the storyline, I don't know how much Ryen wants me to say, but what I learned of the storyline, many people would think it's a horror film, but I think it's more of a psychological thriller. Because you never know what is real, what is myth, what is imaginary, and in some respects, I feel like my character is a little bit of a victim of a, what do you call it? Not mythological, but suspicious and paranoid community. Yeah, and so you got the paranoia, you got the mythology, and all of a sudden, you got this guy who is just trying to do a job. But as an audience member, you still have these questions. I mean, as an audience member, I still have a question or two about what is the nature of things, what is really going on. You just don't know. But the payoff is, I like the payoff. It's interesting. I just would have liked to gurgle more.
Well, the performances in this film, particularly yours, Alfonso, are so grounded and naturalistic. Nothing seems forced. And thrillers and horrors can sometimes fall into that merely popcorn entertainment, which has its place. No knocks on that. But Torn has so many layers. There's so much depth. Can you both speak to creating a character's journey from your perspective, Ryen, as a director, and then Alfonso's as an actor?
Well, so for casting, it comes down to chemistry. I don't really know if there's a big formula, but I feel like with the cast, especially Jordan, who wrote the story, I feel like I have to have chemistry with the people I'm working with, and through that chemistry, there's usually like just an understanding that we're both here for each other. We're both creating this project trying to make it happen the best way we can. And so with that understanding, I feel like that allows for room to play and explore, to just ad-lib, improvise. It was a little bit harder with Torn because I had the writer and co-producer right in front of me, like for most of the film. He starred in it. So I couldn't say too many times, like, I don't like that. I'm not feeling that line. Let's just throw it out. He's like, without him saying, my precious line. He didn't do that much. But on a lot of times, I do allow for loads of improvisation. And Alfonso brought a lot of that to the table. And I appreciate that. So basically, I just allow a lot of room for creativity. If they agree with if they connect to the core motivation of the character, then I'm fine. Let's explore. Let's have fun.
Well, on my end, first of all, I enjoyed the script. Let's just start there. I enjoyed the script. I had a chance to meet with Jordan and Ryen, and the meeting I felt like was fruitful. I was really appreciative. I don't know if I ever told you this, Ryen, but I was really appreciative of even being considered. It's so easy in many cases for there to be an assumption of an actor's prowess because he's connected or related to somebody, and thankfully they saw me. At least I hope they all saw me. I got the job. The character I found interesting, and I found that I could have an arc. A lot of times I've done, I'm like a lot of other actors. I've had to start small and take characters that had no arc whatsoever. They were just kind of like, bullet holes in the storyline just to say that there was something to move the story from A to B. And then this character was able to have an arc. And so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed getting to play off of Jordan, his intensity. I enjoyed Ryan's ability to let me play. That came in handy a lot. As somebody who's getting used to the Charlotte film community, and having not done as much work as I wanted to do, and then in the aftermath of this film, a strike coming up, basically there just wasn't a lot of work for me before I got here, and so to go as a first outing, being allowed to ad lib and to work this character was golden to me. I'm healthier now, thank you, Ryen, than I was when I started the project, because you feel rusty, you feel like the wheels are rusty, and I got out there and I was able to do it, and at least I hope that they liked the work. I certainly enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed the cast, the crew, and I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed being able to just bring something to light. This is like the second psychological thriller that I've done. And they always have this element of a mystery, this Hitchcockian thing that make people question, where things are going, and you don't know until the end. And so I got to have some fun with this one. I did.
As long as it doesn't bother your spirit, please do some more psychological thrillers, because you did it very well.
I just want to add, this may spoil a little bit of the movie, but I have to say it. Hearing Alfonso talk about his background with gospel, and then I think he mentioned that he wanted to bring the light. I think just now, I think that's a lot of what attracted me to him as an actor and bringing him onto this project, because I felt that character, if you take Peter, the main character in the film, as somebody who has two, like an angel and a demon on the shoulder, I see his character as that angel. And I think you definitely brought that game.
So you shot this film in Charlotte. Tell me about some of the locations and how many days of principal photography. Was this a quick shoot?
So we had a 14-day shoot with 2 pickup days. So the pickup days are basically about maybe a month afterwards. But yeah, we scheduled a traditional shoot, which was a blessing, because the last, you mentioned that I had, this is the third feature. The last features I basically did around my full-time job, which I still have. I'm still at that job. And we shot those films on the weekends. And it was just, oh gosh, it was just a long process. But this one had the luxury of just fully engaging ourselves in the process. And that was beautiful. But I tell you though, I definitely realized my age with this movie. Well, I remember Alfonso, there's a major scene that we shot late at night. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, why are we about to do this? It's like 8 o'clock. I should be on my couch right now. This is like, why am I like, we're going to wrap around like 3 o'clock. Why am I doing this? But so I had to get back into that groove of things too, the night shooting.
Well, the film is screened a few times, I believe. When can the general public support the film? Are you seeking a traditional distribution deal, or will it go the film festival route? What are you looking at?
So we're still waiting for film festivals to let us know whether we're getting in. And the producers, the other producers, the money guys, they're the ones that are working on distribution. So they keep telling me to tell everybody 2024. We're working towards that. We did have a Charlotte Film Festival premiere, which amped up our process a little bit. We had that screened before we even had our trailer out and our marketing together. So by the time we get into the other festivals and we're ready to stream, we'll have a lot of our stuff together.
Now, Alfonso, you mentioned the strike, both us actors and the writers. I was out on the picket lines fighting for protections, fair compensation, etc. Should we be afraid of artificial intelligence, or is it something we should adapt to? What are your thoughts?
It's funny. Right now, I'm about to show my age. A lot of people think I'm younger than I am. Oh no, I am where I am, and I have an affinity towards good old fashioned hard work. I don't mind digital media to the degree that it's managed, because it can get away from us. I haven't gotten to AI yet, but digital media of whatever sort, you see the creation of backgrounds and environments and everything that can be done on a sound stage that are so true, real looking that the audience might not know where things are. And I really have little intention of being paranoid about these kinds of things, but it's kind of hard not to be when things are starting to look so good. So AI is the next level of that. And we as actors and artists, I know I wouldn't be a great fan of a script written by, a computer in the background. I mean, computers don't know our stories. I don't care what they try to inject into it. And even though human beings are the ones who programmed it initially, it is artificial intelligence for a reason. It's artificial. Intelligence. It is, but it is artificial. It lacks humanity. And I think that when we tell human stories, it has to be humans who tell those stories. So AI is not, in my mind right now, it's not my friend. It is a fact of life, but I really do believe that it needs to be managed and managed very closely. I think scripts should still be written by writers, human writers. I think acting should still be done by human actors. Keep it that way. You might need to, like in the music industry, they'll call it sweetening, when they add background vocals to the group's vocals to make it a little richer and make it sound a little better. And so you might need a little bit of digital sweetening, but the performances, the writing, the directing should be by human beings and not by artificial intelligence, my opinion. And I think I probably share it with most of the acting and filmmaking community.
Absolutely. Ryen, did you want to touch on that, or you agree?
Yeah, we just need that we need that like sparkle in the eye. And I don't see that with a lot of the AI visuals. That just that light. I don't see the light. Yeah. There's a certain soul that's not there, that's not present. They can look like us, sound like us, but I don't see the soul yet. And shoot, even if we get to that point, I don't know. I just I said earlier, I'm chemistry based. I need to work with another person that has experienced life.
If I might say, it feels like a Twilight Zone episode. Back in the day, back in the 50s, early 60s, they broached some of these things, sort of prophetically, if you will, about how technology could get away from us. Imagine sitting there having a meeting with, a computer, artificial intelligence, robotics, whatever you want to call it. Having a story meeting, having a production meeting, having a green lighting or meeting with something other than a human being. Now that might be extreme to the thought, but that's kind of what can happen these days. And it sounds crazy. Yeah, 30, 40 years ago, I would have thought it was crazy, but we're here. This is what's happening.
Yeah. Gentlemen, with the continued advent of technology, people have had access to cameras and smartphones. People have been pulled off corners to star in TV and film. Anyone can be an actor or filmmaker, regardless of whether they've trained for it or have degrees. Is the all access to the so-called American dream as controversial as some say, or should everyone have a shot at this thing called art?
So I haven't really thought about this, and I'm enjoying this chat. I don't know how deep we could go, but yeah, I do think everybody should have a shot. But I do think it's the talent, it's the fire inside, it's the drive, it's the persistence, it's the collaborate, it's the connections that you have with people, your environment, the energy around you. That's what keeps you going. So yeah, I'm okay. I think everybody should have a shot. I'm not a fan of closing the doors. Regardless, I'm not a fan. I don't really always even look at resumes when I hire. I do give people shots. I love mentoring people. But what's going to keep you engaged? What's going to keep you in the industry? What's going to keep you creative? Especially when things look horrible, when things aren't working out, when you're getting all the no's. What's going to keep you there? That's what matters.
Which is about 99% of the time. The red carpet is 1%.
If I may, as you go farther up in this business, in terms of being acceptance, the more gatekeepers you encounter, for whatever the reason. It's always been this way. It's a little frustrating, but I agree with Ryan. I mean, everybody should get a shot. Okay, so now we all have our cameras. We all have the opportunity to put up some kind of content, everything from only stuff that our mothers will like, to stuff that is for total public consumption. And there have been some wonderful projects that never got made because the gatekeepers were just a little bit too strong. But yeah, give them all the shot and the gatekeepers will start weeding out, the ones who really don't have the goods. And it's until you get to, those who can do something pornographic and become big stars. Go figure. But that's the nature of the business. It's about money, and you have to be ready for whatever this business needs if you're of that kind of mind.
Well, aside from Torn, what projects do you both have coming up? I know that the industry was shut down for a while and we're heading into a new year, but what are you both working on?
What I'm working on is getting the next job. I'm a working actor, at least I'm back to that now. And, that's our auditioning, that's classes, that's all the things that help keep me sharp. I really saw on Torn, the work that I need to do. I'm just a really, really tough judge of my own work anyway. But I still felt like this time I have work that I want to do even more, because, this is my shot too. And I want to get past the gatekeepers as well. So right now it's just about preparation.
Alfonso, before Ryan answers, are you the kind of actor that will watch your work back, or do you do it and not look at it again?
Oh, wow. My everyday wisdom is never watch your performance, and I don't listen to myself sometimes. So I'll go back and see my performance and just criticize and just, it took me a minute to even watch Torn because I was scared to see my performance, and I did, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either because I'm an actor. I'm not supposed to love it. I'm always supposed to be striving to get better and to be more. And, but yeah, I thought a lot of my work was very respectable, and I, felt like, okay, build on this. And that's where I am right now. But yeah, it's a tough thing watching my own performance. I should probably never do that. I should.
Meanwhile, I'm watching you. I think I see you every day, Alfonso. As we prepare marketing material, I'm still looking at you, and I'm enjoying it.
Oh, well, thank you so much. He's got a knack for making me feel better because, coming out the box after a minute of not working, you're going to have confidence issues. And, I try to play it off with a joke or two, but on the inside, I'm like, oh my God. You know? And, the good news for me is I still have that. So, I'll never think of myself as too much. I will just constantly strive to get better.
So so the day job I produce promos, network promos for INSP, and so that's always keeping me creative. And it's also, I appreciate, and I like telling people this too, because I feel like the place has definitely helped me learn how to tell stories, and especially in short amount of time. When you write a promo, you have to basically get your point across in 30 seconds or less. So I'm continuing to develop my craft there. I'm working on Jordan and I, who unfortunately was not able to make this meeting. He's also my producing partner. And so we're crafting 3 other projects after this. One is called Discovery, which is based off of a short film that I directed in film school. So I'm excited about that project. And I hope you will be too, Alfonso. But anyway, yeah, so... But yeah, so it's good. It's more of a coming of age movie. It's still in the still character... So about the characters, and there's still a little bit of a dark mystery going on in a small town, but only it's now we have like 13-year-olders wondering what's going on, what's true, what's not true, as they also deal with regular coming of age life issues. So I'm excited about Torn. I'm excited about some other untitled projects that are coming out.
Again, Torn is riveting. I've seen it. Both of you did a fantastic job with this project, and I appreciate you spending time with me today.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Yes, definitely. All right, and Robert, yeah, let's talk after this.
Robert, you remind me of me when you described yourself and how you were at school. Like, yeah, that was a lot of how I was, with an extra layer of nerddom on top of that. I don't see you thinking, dude,
I'm still
right
a nerd.
Right here. In high school, I was a cool nerd. Every school's got one of those.
That's it. Yes.
You were cool.
I was a cool nerd. I carried a dictionary or a thesaurus in my back pocket, but absolutely, I'm a cool nerd.
I had the briefcase. I was part of Men's Federation at Compton High School.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
And it was art school, too. I thought, going to art school, that everybody would be similar, but no, I think I actually really felt even more lonely sometimes at Kappa. But meeting Robert and 3 of our other film friends, that just changed my life, honestly. So I could go on and on about that.
Yeah.
No,
well, I'm looking at you too, and I see the love of the work, the love of the craft, and love of the work. So keep it up, guys.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
Make sure to like, comment, and hit subscribe on our YouTube channel so you never miss out. RXG Exclusives, hosted by Robert X. Golphin, now playing.